welcome to today's podcast. My name is Tammy, and I'm excited to have today. I have some amazing guests with me, three amazing Microsoft guests, and they are fellow interns at Microsoft here. So they are going to share some of their journey and how they got their internship here at Microsoft. So before we start briefly, I would want every one of us to introduce ourselves. So I don't know any of us. So Sean, do you want to start with it?
Yeah.
A little bit about yourself and possibly where you're from.
Yeah.
And your school.
For sure. I'll be brief as possible.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Sean Lewiston.
Okay.
I'm also a PMM intern, same as Tammy.
Yeah.
Working within Azure. I'm doing my MBA at University of Miami, but I grew up in New Jersey.
All right.
My
Thanks.
family is from Haiti.
Oh, okay. Thanks, man.
That's beautiful, Sean. My name is Yabsira. I am a PDM intern, which is Partner Development Manager intern.
Okay.
I go to Olin Business School at WashU in St. Louis.
Okay.
And I'm originally from Ethiopia. Grew up a little bit in Japan, and also grew up in DC as well.
Okay, a mix of the brand between Asia, Africa, and North America. That's good. That's cool.
Thanks for having me on. My name is Quentin. I'm a partner solutions architect intern here at Microsoft, working within Azure infrastructure as well as security. I am originally from New York, where I'm at St. Thomas Aquinas College studying computer science.
Okay. All right. So my first question, right? So let's actually go with you. So I want to ask, when did you start the application, your application phase? Or firstly, what was your motivation into going for a master's, right? What actually motivated you to actually apply to the degree? And when did you start your application phase into your internship?
So I'm not in my master's.
Yeah, your program.
So a little bit about kind of how I got to Microsoft was I was originally studying cybersecurity.
Okay.
Through talking with my professor about the industry, he expressed that the cloud is a good direction to go in.
Mm-hmm.
Through that, I started researching. Azure stood out the most to me.
Okay.
Microsoft actually has a platform called Virtual Days where you're able to go through, sit on lectures, connect with individuals, as well as go for certifications.
Yeah.
So through there, I was able to find the AZ900, the Azure Fundamentals.
Yeah.
I went through there, sat through the lecture. They actually gave me a voucher. Was able to go through, and once I passed that certification, I was able to do labs, started skilling up, and actually was able to connect to recruiters. That kind of catapulted me to be able to start my process here at Microsoft.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Oh, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am in my MBA. Just to give you a little bit of context, so I used to be in consulting, also healthcare change management for the last almost half a decade. And one thing that motivated me to go to an MBA is the entrepreneurial spirit and really the desire to have that network and start the opportunity to have like the intern card to ask questions. So I started looking at Microsoft and other companies very early in the cycle, started networking with people who I knew were at Microsoft and kind of asking them specific questions about what they do, what they like, what they don't like, and tried to see if there was a pathway for me to get into a portal. Yeah. And I got selected into a portal, and like Microsoft recruited me at that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Sweet. Yeah, I am also in my MBA. Before I started my MBA, I knew a massive opportunity was sort of coming my way, an opportunity to network with individuals of certain skills and get into big tech. So I prepped my resume, my profile, everything, LinkedIn, social media, to a T for big tech jobs. And I actually started applying pretty early. I applied in August, late August, early September to Microsoft, the first year of my MBA. And Microsoft is great because I found out if I got the offer in the next month. So I got in early. I think applications are accepted on a rolling basis. So there's a lot of sort of benefit to getting that in early, having your resume prepped, your LinkedIn up to par, everything before the application process starts would be my sort of advice there.
Okay. Yeah, that's super cool because, every one of you have different journey, right? You said you took the Azure A900 course, while you say you actually network with a lot of folks, and while you say you started application and start prepping your your resume and start getting the T's and the I's and getting ready. So what would you say are some of the resources or platforms, right? I know you've actually started mentioning some of them, right?
Mhm.
So, but essentially, what are some of the resources and platforms that you say that was a huge help? Because I know a couple of people use AI. There is AI resume that reflect through your resume and help you prepare cover letters and the rest. So, what are some of the platforms that helped you in your application, and how many applications would you say you did before you got a feedback from Microsoft?
Yeah. So in terms of resources, I may be a little bit on the atypical side. My biggest resource was LinkedIn. My biggest resource was other people.
Yeah.
There are a ton of websites that can help you craft and design your resume. That is true. A lot of people have seen success doing that. But the success I've seen is merely because I borrowed a resume from someone who's gotten a job at Microsoft.
Yeah.
That was a good example of what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So hands down, biggest resource was LinkedIn.
Okay.
Reaching out to people, sending cold messages, seeing who my second node connections were, and introducing myself. I mean, the worst thing they can do is ignore
Say no.
right? Or say no. But for every 10 messages, you get at least one. So
True.
my primary sort of route to Microsoft and preparing my application, my resume, the biggest resource for me was other people.
Oh, yeah, leverage on people, right? Leverage on people. That's a very good one. Now, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sean hit out a really good point.
Yeah.
So I also had opportunities to review resumes of individuals who did amazing with the ATSs and the screening tools as a whole. So for me personally, I had I think 6 or 7 offers this intern cycle. In consulting and marketing,
Obviously,
and, healthcare,
obviously.
Opportunities, investment banking,
Yeah.
and all that. And that was because I was extremely diligent about what I wrote in my resume, and also I was able to quantify it. And I only knew that context because I got the opportunity to see other successful people, and I saw what they put in their resume and modeled it forward.
Yeah.
And then really, when you think about I think that the statistics, I think there's if there's 100 jobs, I think 10,000 people apply for it.
True.
Or 100,000 or 50,000. It's a really big number. So the base is making sure that your resume is on point and on par. But the part I think that's the real secret sauce is creating that intentional opportunity and advocates for you to get that opportunity to interview. Because once you get the opportunity, you also have to nail the interview.
True.
And that's also a really hard thing to do that people don't.
Yeah. Okay.
As we've shown, Yabsira hit on the T. For me, networking groups, Blacks in Technology, groups I'm a part of have had resume workshops.
Okay.
You can use the platforms. I mean, honestly, what I've seen the most success was having those skills that set me apart from everyone else.
Yeah.
So, coming in against other people who maybe want this solutions architect role as myself, may have not had an AZ900, may not have had the lab experience.
True.
So making sure that my resume stood out and that I had the connections, I made numerous amount of connections with people who already solutions architect doing what I want to do. So getting their perspective really helped out.
Yeah. Actually, that's a very good point. Getting people, successful people to review a resume. Well, for me, we had this admission thing, right? We had this admission thing that they actually told us. In fact, it was part of our task. It was like an assignment where we have to submit all our resumes. We have to create resumes. We have to create cover letters. We have to create LinkedIn accounts, right? Those are the 3 tasks for us. It was a graded assignment. So we had a good one, but there are some people that may not have those opportunities. And that's where, leveraging on other people, right? Leveraging on LinkedIn, leveraging on the success of what people have done, right? Those are very, very, very important. So now let's move down to the interview, right? When you finally got the interview, hey, congrats, you've been invited for an interview. How did you feel and how did you prepare for the interview? Then lastly, what kind of interview questions did you get?
So first, when you get that email, it's hey, we want to speak to you. It's mixed emotions, it's excitement, nervousness at the same time, but super eager to finally be able to prove that I'm capable. That's the way you have to approach those interviews. It's they looked at your resume, they see something in you. Now it's time for you to go to confirm to them.
True.
I'm willing, I'm worthy to this opportunity.
Yeah.
For me, as a cloud architect, it's leveraging a lot of technical concepts, but being also to be very like business acumen at the same time.
Okay.
So it's being able to explain all these different cloud concepts, explaining, when I would apply these principles and things of that nature. So I learned a lot of like competency-based questions. Like I had a lot of behavioral, situational adaptability, how I learned to skill up on this. So they kind of wanted to see like how I think in those scenarios.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think the most important thing, and it's kind of counterintuitive in my mind with the interview process, is like we try to show that we want to be here. But I think that's the wrong framework to take an approach. You have to show that you are a value add to the person that you're interviewing with. You have to show that if you were hired on, you could be a successful partner, you could be a successful coworker, you could be a successful manager that can like help alleviate the problems that this role like promotes. So I had a couple of interviews beforehand, some of them not so good, some of them good. But the reason why I believe I got the Microsoft offer is because I came in there with the intention and mindset to share what I want and what I want to get out of Microsoft and what I believe Microsoft can like earn from me. And by having the context of big Microsoft, I can't wait to be there, to Microsoft, like this is what I want from you, this is what you get from me, you level the playing field with individuals. And by being able to do that and genuinely being passionate about why you want something, it can't be just because it's my dream. It has to be like a functional reason. I think that's really how you nail the interview. And interviewers can tell that.
Very, very important for you to sell yourself through, because even if they want you, they want to see what you can offer, right? What value would you be bringing to them? And I know one of the things that they always look out for was growth mindset, right? Even if you don't know so much, how can you leverage what you have to grow? That is one of the key things Microsoft is looking at. They're not looking for the perfect person. They're not looking for the person that knows everything. They want someone that's, number one, you have the ability, you have those mindsets to grow and to learn. And that's a very key one, right? What about you, Sean?
Absolutely. And just to add one quick thing. It's also really important to bring yourself, right, to the interview and where you are. But yourself has to be something that Microsoft wants to. And that's also a key determination that's there. So I'm going to pass it to Sean, but that's an important part of knowing yourself.
All right.
Yeah, great points made earlier. I would, just to jump off of what Yabsira said, knowing yourself. I think a very big point of differentiation is self-awareness. People say, I want to get into strategy. I like product. I like customers. But have you really sat there and thought about, should I get wisdom from someone that's done it? Analyze that wisdom. Figure out if you really want to do it. And this is coming directly from our CMO, Takeshi. He said in an interview, one of my favorite interview questions is, if you were a product manual, what would be your specs? How should people use you? How shouldn't people use you? And to answer that question takes a certain level of self-awareness. So before you approach the interview, know exactly what you want, know why you're a fit for the role, and pitch yourself. Remain calm. Obviously, it's riveting and on the nerves. It's a huge company and a huge opportunity, but being calm and aware are some of the biggest sort of resources that you can have. And overall, right, they're looking for fit. They're big on culture, very big on culture, growth mindset, collaboration. You need to do your research, read on the website, what are their cultural pillars, what are they looking for in a candidate, and to make sure you structure your talking points around that. And overall mock interviews. Back to what I said earlier about having other people as resources. People that have done interviews are a huge resource for you. And if you can get in a room with them, have them mock interview you, it's a very good way to become familiar with the nerves that you will have on interview day. And you can proceed in a more calm fashion that way.
So that was actually key, because I remember I approached one of the current, it was actually a past intern. I saw him on LinkedIn, like, hey, I'm having my interview sometime this week. Would you want to have a mock interview with me? I remember I had 3 mock interviews, and every one of the mock interviews were all Microsoft employees, or they work for Microsoft. So they actually understand how the questions are going to come in. They know what kind of answers that they are looking for. You understand? And obviously, like Microsoft gave us the star arrow method, situation, task, action, result, and reflection. Right. I remember that framework that it was given on the website. So it's a good one, going through the website, utilizing those resources definitely helps. So currently this is 12 week, right? Week 12 for you. What about you? Week
Correct.
Week 10 or 11.
Week 10. What about you?
This is week 9.
Oh, week 9. Okay, so like very a week. So how would you say is the experience? Like, is it actually a rewarding experience being an intern at Microsoft?
I'm gonna give it to you straight. I felt like I learned a year's worth of stuff in 12 weeks. When I first got in here, there's this expression, drinking from the water hose, and I couldn't underestimate or understate the accuracy of that. It's really a lot that you learn. Sometimes it's overwhelming, but there's a great support system that'll help you sort of navigate those waters.
Yeah.
Overall, it's been a great experience, not only from a networking perspective. Microsoft is very flat in some senses. You can reach out to whoever you want as an intern, and people are more than happy to speak with interns. It's very important that you utilize that because those are the seeds for long-lasting relationships. That would probably be one of the most valuable takeaways I had. And of course, just learning about the cloud, right? I mean, it's cutting edge technology, AI, this, that, buzzwords, right? But what's under the hood? Why is Microsoft a cutting edge player? How are they thinking about the market? These are all things that are highly transferable and skills that I can use in any tech related role. So,
yeah, sure.
So 100%, I think it's a valuable opportunity. Getting to spend 12 weeks with the AI company, with the foremost cloud company, is phenomenal. But the reality of the aspect is, right, like there's a lot of ambiguity and there's a lot of just information that's thrown at you.
Yeah.
And I think, oftentimes if you're in educational backgrounds or if you're younger in your career, you want that structure. That's what you're used to.
True.
But what Microsoft's looking for is your ability to navigate that ambiguity.
True.
Because they're at the forefront, right? So if you're at the forefront, there isn't structure for you to move forward with. You have to rely on your experience. You have to rely on the experience of others, and you have to move along the way. So Microsoft gives you a lot of opportunity to frame what you want to do over the summer and structure it the way that you want to. Like, for example, Sean and I both took the Azure AI and Azure certifications as well.
Yeah.
Because we thought that'd be valuable for learning.
Yeah.
And we got to do different things. So absolutely rewarding.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Rewarding is definitely the word. I mean, coming in and being able to have, like, for me, from an architect standpoint, we're talking a lot about these cloud technologies, something I'll be working on my day to day, having the access to these tools, working direct with some of these companies, we're at the forefront of AI, Microsoft's big on security at that point. So, I mean, be able to come in and work with these technologies, be able to be mentored by people who've been doing this for many, many years, and be able to kind of formulate a path for myself. It's been such an amazing experience, and it's allowed me to learn much more. I came in more as a technical intern and then leave more business acumen, understanding how the business works, and just being able to expand me again, trigger from the fire hose. And to be able to learn so much in 12 weeks has been such an amazing experience.
True. All right, so down to my last question, right? Let's say, what practical advice would you give to future interns looking forward to like applying to Microsoft or maybe other tech companies, right? What would you say that you would tell them, okay, these are the 3 things that you should look out for, or based on your experience, what would you advise them? Then secondly, is there anything that you wish that you knew or you would do during your application phase that was successful in you getting a Microsoft offer? So those are like 2 questions. Number 1 is like, what kind of advice would you give to like future interns coming in either for MBA, masters, or possibly technical roles in undergrad? And looking backward, what is that one thing that you say that you want to redo or something that you would not do currently now?
The one advice I would say is something I learned over last year and it kind of helped me a lot is branding is very important. Utilizing LinkedIn, talking about the technology, show that you're very interested and passionate about these things, shows and can open doors alone. I've seen people open up roles and got roles at Microsoft just because of the content and things that they put out there. So, I think being able to stand out and separate yourself from everyone else is very crucial. That's probably the best advice I can give, as well as, skilling up in a certain area. That's very important. I would say I don't have any regrets from things I would do differently from because it got me here. It's everything that I did. I feel like I had a goal to set myself apart by grabbing certifications and proving that I'm very passionate and I'm willing to go to the furthest extent to learn and become very well dispositioned. And I think that's what set me apart from other candidates. So that's something that I would kind of lean heavily on. It has worked for me.
All right, thanks.
My first practical advice would be this doesn't determine who you are, right? Mm-hmm. Being at Microsoft, getting this opportunity, or being at any company, getting an opportunity or not getting it doesn't define who you are. True. You have the opportunity to define who you are. True. Maybe you got rejected from Microsoft, you ended up starting up a company, and you're much more successful than any one of us, right? Based on the metrics that you care about yourself. So one, this doesn't define you. And two, when thinking about how to prepare yourself, put yourself in the foot of the other person and be extremely selfish with what that person's thinking. Yeah. And what I mean by that is what kind of intern would you want? What's your ideal intern, right? Somebody who's perfect, somebody who's ready to contribute day one, somebody who gives you confidence, somebody who is able to exude I want to hang out with that person. So with that framework in mind, make yourself that individual. And it doesn't have to be that you're perfect, but it's that you believe that you can be. And that's what they're looking for. The action, intentionality, and the desire to be a person that other people want to be around. And if you have that framework in mind, get that interview, it's almost a lock that you're gonna get the offer. So just know that this doesn't define you and be aware of what other person's truly looking for.
Yeah, no, excellent points made. For me, my biggest advice, and this pretty much is parallel with what I said first, is people. It's networking. I see a lot of people working day and night on their resume, interview prep. But who knows you, right? I mean, there are thousands of other applicants. Are you able to differentiate yourself that much where you can apply blank and expect to hear a response back? That's a question that you have to answer for yourself. If you can, great. But for most of us, you need to have people. You need to have people with inside information. They'll tell you what's going to be asked in the interviews. They'll tell you what you need to work on. They'll tell you what needs to be on your resume, and they will give you a referral. That's the best way to get in the door, foot in the door. It's people. And the way you do that is by doing something most people are very uncomfortable with: cold outreach on LinkedIn. Hey, my name is Sean. I'm doing my MBA at University of Miami. I saw you did this, would love to have a coffee chat to learn about, your path and gather some wisdom. Most people would be happy to do that for a student. And believe me, I was surprised when I found out that most people don't do that. It's very low hanging fruit, but most people do not do that. And having those connections, having those people on the inside that are willing to guide you, it goes a very, very long way. So that being my number one advice. It sounds cliche, but I promise you, from an actions perspective, it's far and few between people that actually execute on it. And something I would have done differently. So you're really interviewing with people at the end of the day, right? They want to trust you. They want you to build rapport with them. You'll get the names of your interviewers before the interview starts. Do research on them. Where they go to school, what are their interests, who are they following on LinkedIn, and prepare your talking points around those. People love when they have common interests. So make sure you play on that. Do research, know who your, in this case, opponent is, and build a bridge.
All right. So much value that is being shared from every one of you. I took so much points. I wish I had all this information before now, right? I utilized some of them, obviously. So, but I want to say a very big thank you to every one of you, for sharing your points, Sean, for actually giving us the tips about reaching out to people, sending cold emails. And there is also for the point of knowing yourself, right? This internship doesn't actually define you, right? Know your value and know what you're building. And for Quentin, for everything you shared about the resources on the different Azure platform, getting those platforms and even, the certifications and everything. it's usually these experiences are transformational, and I believe that everybody or anyone that's going to listen to this is going to get inspired and also get so much information that they are going to use for their forthcoming application. So I want to say thank you guys for coming. It wasn't planned, but fortunately, God have it that you guys are here. And I want to say thanks to everyone that is listening, and stay tuned for the next episode as you explore the path of a successful MBA interns and also interns across Microsoft. Thank you very much.